Alrighty guys, I'm working on my Ford Focus. Only putting the alternator in. It's gonna have to be off and on all day today because I can only work like 30 minutes and then I have to go take care of some other personal stuff. So I am starting to take the back of it off, the back shroud off the manifold, so I can even get to the alternator. And let me show you what else. So I sprayed it, loosening these two bolts up right here, and I'm gonna be taking this off to expose the alternator. Also gotta probably take off this other one. I haven't done it yet. I have the alternator. It's a generic 300 amp alternator made in USA supposedly. Got some wire I got to be running today. Got to hook up the radio. I got to do all kinds of stuff to this thing. I'm gonna be stripping it all out, getting it ready. So I threw these in this box right now just to get them loosened up. And I burped a 150 with it on a cab 4500. And that's just tickling these guys, so it's not too shabby. But yep, I'll record it as much as I can. I get distracted, guys, so just bear with me. Can't see it.
I'm legally blind. I can see barely, but
Easy peasy. Easy peasy, guys. I sprayed these shits last night. You gonna come off? It's gonna come off already. Let me see. Okay, this one somebody already, yeah, there's a bolt down there kind of loosened up. I'm gonna have to take off, but looks like somebody already tried to take this off and put it on crap shitfully. So, but right there is the alternator I am getting to. So I gotta take this shroud off, and then I should be able to access that alternator. Alrighty, the shroud's not going to come off because the clutch cables are in the way, and I'm not hurting any of that stuff. So there is the O2 sensor down there. I'm gonna have just enough room to get a socket on it, hopefully, and take it off. Hopefully, I got it sprayed. I'm gonna let it set for a little bit. Let me see if I can get it better. I'm gonna spray it and let it loosen up, and then slowly work my way trying to take it off. Alrighty, failures. I took off the top O2 sensor. Right here it is. It don't look bad. I got O2 sensor cleaner. I'm gonna clean it, even though there's no codes. Just it's off, so I'm gonna do it. And then try to get to that guy down there. It's been soaking in for a little bit. Well, I got it off. I found a way to not take that off. Somebody's already stripped the damn thing, and I don't want to make it worse. So I'm exposing it now a lot better. I'm going to unplug the plug first things first and make sure that plug's the same plug as what I got on my alternator, just because generally I've done this before, and the alternator that was shipped to me didn't have the right plug. So I'm gonna make sure that's going first before I go any farther. Had to go to the alternator. The plug fits perfect. We are ready to go. I just need to pull this beast out. I'm gonna have to undo these janky ass rigged up. When I got this, they had a broken one right here. I think I dropped it somewhere in here, and they had a nail shoved through it and wrapped and tightened that was holding it. And you know, I temporarily did this to start it up, to diagnose stuff, to get it running. And I've been driving it like this, to tell you the truth. Sometimes I'll bring little baby vice grips with me right here, and I'll tighten it up on the side to hold it just in case when I'm going, so I don't have no problems down the line. But other than that, I mean, I got new ones I'm going to put on today. But all this is good. I'm doing it in vain. I'm just doing it now to drive it. But within a month from now, this battery is not going to be here. So I'm just going to do it for the sake of this alternator. And also, I need to start doing the big three when I'm here. So when I get this alternator done and put on, and get the battery terminals put on and right, I'm going to start working on a big three, maybe possibly more, depending on how much more zero gauge I have left over. If not, I'll have to take a run to the junkyard and get some more zero gauge. Alrighty, don't mind my ADHD-ness. I get too distracted and start doing something else. So I found something else that I need to do while I'm here. So I'm gonna do, I guess, a roundabout the alternator, a roundabout the big three, and then I got to focus on the zero gauge where I'm going to go through the firewall with. With the way this thing is, it's hard to get through the firewall, these guys. That was like the only big real problem that they have with them. So, but yeah, I guess I'm just gonna try to record this stuff. If y'all like this shit, just let me know. I don't mind doing it. I just want to make sure that I'm not killing the channel with not bass related stuff. Well, this is bass related, but you know. So I need to get, let me turn that light on. I need to get down in here. I have, let me see, right, I can't see it now, but this wire going that way, there should be a hole in, yeah, there's a hole right there in the metal. See where the hole is to expose the strut? I'm gonna probably end up going through that, drill a hole in through the firewall in here so I can run through that, because it's plenty, it isn't being exposed in here, so it's gonna still be inside the frame. But that's what I'm gonna probably end up doing too. That's gonna be a fucking, that's gonna be a damn hassle all on its own. That's gonna probably be the most annoying thing that I'm gonna do on this car so far. And I don't have to go far with the wiring, because the way I'm gonna have it, the way it's gonna be is, don't mind the car, it's still gotta strip it apart, is these seats, the bottom seats are coming out, and then this one's gonna get laid down for now, and I'm gonna have an exposed wire look, so they're gonna come out and be right beside each other after I get done with the doing all this dyno matting and shit. I'm gonna have them both on the side, zero gauge coming up, and then I'm gonna have my 2 amps right here on like a nice piece of wood going straight across this whole entire back area, a full sheet. And so I'll have so much damn speaker wire. This shit's great. I have so much of this left over. I'll be able to, look at this stuff. This stuff is crazy, man. It's thick. It's crazy. OFC, and then I just can't get over, I can't get over this stuff. It's such nice. And then these lugs, dude. These are actual thick ass lugs, you know. These are like 17 foot long. I'm only gonna be using around not even 12 foot. So that's what I'm looking at so far. So hopefully, I'm gonna do this first and see how much I have left over for a big 3, because I want to try to use the same stuff. If not, I'm gonna go to the junkyard like I usually do, and it's gonna be, so what I do at the junkyard is Chrysler 300s, pretty much anything, Dodge Avengers, all that kind of shit. They have zero gauge welding OFC cable going from the firewall, and I think it's like only like a 10 millimeter that takes it off the firewall, but it goes to the firewall and it goes all the way back into the back where the battery is, and it's good shit. I get a bunch of it. It's really cheap. Usually I spend like $5 for 10 to 12 foot of it, but here lately the junkyard's been catching wind and seeing me coming out, man, with looking like a damn octopus. So they've been trying to bump me up a little bit more on my price. But I'll have to do that if I have to. But I was also thinking about just biting the bullet and contacting Slapz and getting another of these zero gauge kits and just cutting it up and using it. It's still a good price, you know. So I moved the reservoir, which was a simple 10 millimeter, and then clipped on this. I unhooked a couple hoses and plugged them so they don't leak all over the place really bad. And there's the alternator. So I'm gonna have to get in there and loosen up that tensioner, take pressure off that belt and take it off, and then I got a bolt right here, and then I got another one on the other side, and then one on the back I'm going to have to take off. So I'm going to see what the hell I'm getting into. Alrighty, I PB blastered, which they're no longer calling PB blaster, they're just calling it blaster and then PB on it. I PB blastered all the shit, all the bolts and stuff. I got the tensioner, took the tensioner loose and got the belt off, so there's no more tension on the alternator itself. And now I just got to see which one, what tools fit it and get it off. So I unscrewed these bolts to get this plastic cover off. There we go, to get to the damn thing. So let's see what we're dealing with right here. Looks like 2 bolts, one right there and then one pretty much opposite from it on the bottom. And yeah, it looks like I'm gonna spray some stuff on them and then go make me a sandwich. But yep. Now I'm doing a comparison right now with the alternator that I have, the new one versus the old one. I bought one of the cheap eBay alternators, the scam ones, I believe. It was really cheap, 300 amp alternator for like $189 with a warranty. So I bought it, and I'm pulling, I don't have the alternator off yet, but it's getting ready to be off, and I'm gonna do like a side-by-side comparison, and then just go from there, speculation what it might be. Once I get it on the car, I'm gonna get a clamp on it and see what it's gonna do. And even if it ain't a 300 amp alternator and it's like a 250, I'm still gonna be happy. So alrighty guys, I got them off. It is considerably bigger, it's considerably heavier, so that's all good signs, my friend, good signs. And that's about it. This pulley looks a little smaller than this one. I might change that out because science. Smaller pulley, you know what I mean? You know what I mean, guys? If you know, you know. But yep, I'm gonna swap her out. I wonder what amp this thing was. I think that'd be pretty cool. Ooh. I think I almost seen something there. Looked like it said it was 110 or 120. Damn it, I rubbed it off. But oh well. I'm gonna get this thing started and get her on there, and then I'm gonna do the terminals, and then I'm gonna start working on the big three and where I'm gonna put it and what it's gonna be look like. Because I got all this stuff. I'll move this, but the intake is coming off. I'm gonna do some stuff with the intake, the fuel rail, the valve cover gasket. I'm gonna make it look a little bit more better and presentable when the hood's open. You know what I mean? It's for base, not for show, but I want it to look a little better than what it dirt road, you know. So I got the new alternator on. Obviously none of the parts wanted to fit, so I broke and cut and everything for it to fit on there to help keep the cooling. I rerouted this in a different way, the hot wire, just for my convenience, and I'm getting ready to put it on now. And hopefully this thing is a good alternator. That would be really nice if it's an actual real 300 amp alternator. We're gonna put it to the test though. But yep, out with the old, in with the new. Also, there's nothing wrong with this alternator. I keep my old alternators, and when I go to a competition, I bring it with me. Because a stock alternator is better than no alternator. And I always have like a small, tiny motorcycle lead acid battery or some shit, to where if something happened to the alternator or the charge, you know, the lithium or something, I could just put the wires on the battery with stock alternator and get my ass home. Because that's just the way I am. I do it with Boom Terror over there, my Nissan. I do it with that guy, and you know, I'm gonna keep continuing doing it because it's happy. So guys, I got the alternator in. It's a lot bigger than the other one, so I had to use some spacers. I don't know if you can see. I had to use a spacer on top and bottom because it was touching and hitting, and it was just too close. So I'm hoping that the belt is still going to be manageably easy to put on and be okay. If not, I'll have to go get another belt off the one size bigger than this. It's got the belt's like an inch bigger. That would probably work if there was a problem. But yeah, I got it tightened up. I still got to put on that plastic piece, the shroud. And what it does is, I don't have the induction part right here, but there's like some kind of plastic that plugs in right here that goes down, and the air scoops up and blows into this to keep it cool, and then the rest of it helps the other plastic piece. I'm gonna actually go to the junkyard and look for that part and find it, and then I'll have to cut and modify it because it's a bigger alternator, and that'll help out a lot driving down the road, beating and basing and the air getting blown onto the alternator. But it's also a problem with flooding, like if it's flooded or if it's raining, that kind of shit, it might throw some stuff up on it, depending on where the hell it goes, because I don't even know where it goes. It could be somewhere over here by the fender, but we're gonna find out. So far I have the new alternator in and all the OEM stuff back on it. I'm gonna have to go to the junkyard and find the plastic piece that goes up here somewhere and keeps it cool. But yeah, so far got that done. I need to hook up a couple more things, and then you know, I put everything, just dropped it in here, didn't bolt anything down though. I didn't bolt the tray down or nothing. I wanted to start it up and see what it does, and it's working great. So I'm gonna go get my clamp, and I'm gonna clamp that hot wire while it's on, and I'm just gonna see what it's drawing. Of course, you need to, like, in order to see what it's actually drawing, you have to like have an amp hooked up to it all and taking the power, so the amp can actually, I mean the alternator can actually start, you know, drawing those amps out. But I'm just going to test it to see what it's doing stock at idle, and then at like 1500 RPM, just because I'm curious. Other than that though, it didn't take all these tools. I just tried to find the right one to get inside there to do that tensioner for the belt. Good night. And it turned out to be this crooked 13. So yep, it worked out perfect. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change out these new ones. For new ones, I'm going to change out the damn battery terminals, and then proceed to the big 3 up front. Alrighty guys, I got everything tight and hooked up, and it's all done down there. Now I got to get all the heat shields and put them on here. I'm going to have to undo one of the O2 sensors again, and I got to bolt and hook up the reservoir, get all the wiring back where it needs to go. All this stuff that I had to move out of the way, I'm going to put back and start on my big 3. Alrighty, I got to take a trip to the local hardware store, and then I'm going to, last resort, go to Tractor Supply, because they definitely have them. They're just expensive. But I got to get some 0 gauge lugs. I ran out, so go figure. I will hopefully see y'all shortly.
Behind us, quick one, one blow KO. Here's a room to the next.
These things are $3 to $4 a piece at the local hardware store. Good night. Super expensive.
This is not okay. This needs to stop now.
Yeah, I might as well get them. I need like 6 of them. Finally back, had to get a hydraulic lug crimper. I've been slowly cleaning everything off, all the contacts. I'm gonna be cutting, stripping this, and cleaning it. Got new lugs. Battery terminals, and I'm gonna start running all the stuff for the big 3. I'm just gonna go ahead and connect it all to here, because it's gonna be another easy month or 2 before I get my lithium for this thing. So I'm just gonna keep it stock electrical, stock voltage connected to this guy with the 0 gauge hooked up to all this after going back. Alrighty guys, I gotta pull the alternator back off. I've been already starting to tear it apart a little bit. And in order to get the lug on the back of the alternator on the positive post, I got to pull the alternator back off. It's it came with like a little bit of an extension that goes on it, and I'm gonna take that off. It's too thin. The way it's made is it's thin, like super thin. Like you go to Walmart or wherever store and get like a really thin like lug for, I don't know, a 6 gauge wire. It's really thin, so I don't think that's gonna hold up. Catastrophic failure. So I'm gonna pull this alternator back off and look at it and see exactly what I can do to put it on the positive post directly, adapter wise or anything like that, with thicker material, better material. And yep, it's just the name of the game. So I went ahead and took the heat shield back out. I already pulled all the covers and stuff hiding the alternator itself, except for this little black one right here. I already pulled all that off. That's going to come out when I get it up. Took the belt off to the tensioner. Obviously there's the back of the alternator cover and that stuff. So yep, I could try to explain and show you a little bit more on this alternator. You can see, when you look at it, you see how thin that little wire is right there going up. It's the same way with this other alternator. So I'm going to take all this off and see if I can have an adapter coming out to hook everything up to. And yep, go from there, because I don't think this little tiny wire inside here that's super thin is going to cut it. I could just see it melt. This is the size difference between them both while I got both of them together. It is significantly larger. I already tore up the 300 amp piece of thin crap. What is under this? Nothing. Oh, Sharpie 300 amp on there. Shit, I'll put 340. I don't care. 370. No, I'm just joking. So yeah, you can tell that this one is a little thinner than this one. This one's a little thicker, but it's not good enough. I'm going to take this completely off and then see how far it is. And if anything, I'll just make another, I'll just stick it out a little longer as an adapter. And yeah, I'll have to reconfigure this thing back on here like this. So there's supposed to be some plastic back there that holds this in here, and it forces air to cool this thing off, and it's non-existent. I went to a couple junkyards, couldn't find any, but I'm gonna not stop. I'm gonna keep trying to find it. So, but let me get this going. All right, I'm using this as reference. Slapz Audio 0 gauge. Putting it on. I'm looking at the phone while I'm trying to do this. It looks like there's going to be enough room just to have it like this, the way it is. So I'm going to get some washers, put between it so that, you know, there's a little bit more depth on it. The way the the alternator is on this thing is it kind of has to have this piece on there in order for this to actually get on there and put on there right. Otherwise, this isn't long enough. So I cut and broke away this part to where this will bolt on there still, and I will be able to get that 0 gauge lug on there right here, and then I can just put the starter wire back on top of this. So yep, that's what I'm going to do now. So this is what I'm doing right now. This might not look the best, but it's on. This guy is hooked back up like it's supposed to be, and then down there on the big lug of the 0 gauge I got on the power pole, or whatever you want to call it, hooked up. And then I got this broken off and managed to get on here some way. But yeah, that's pretty much about it, guys. I mean, now I gotta fight this thing back in there, and hopefully with all this connected and on, it's gonna not be so damn tough, but we're gonna find out. So I have the alternator back in, tightened up, all the plastics back on, 0 gauge kind of routed out of the way of everything. This guy I'm gonna have to route where I feel is gonna be nice and safe. Other than that, I just gotta tighten these last. Alrighty, I got the 0 gauge put pretty much out of the way where I want. I gotta tighten up these nuts. This one's already tight, but these ones ain't. I just got them in there for right now. Resituate what I need to do. And I just realized I need to put the tensioner, I need to put the belt back on, so I might have to take some of that back off. But slowly I removed the reservoir out of the way, got the belt on. It looks like it's lined up. They always come with a wider pulley on these things, just so you can, just in case, a little wiggle room. But she's on, so now I gotta start getting everything tightened back up. Got the guard, heat guard, which makes a little noise, back in. O2 sensors, everything bolted up, done. All of it's done. Gotta get some, get my air hose and blow all the leaves and stuff out of this thing, man. It is pollen season, guys. I don't know if y'all can see all that, all the green. But it's just the way it is, you know. So gonna have to definitely clean up, get my air tool, get it all done. And then get these wires ran over here, start the rest of the big three. This just took a lot of time to do. I wanted it done decent, not all butchered to where something's gonna happen down the road. So alrighty, for the ground, I found a spot right here. It's actually thick, and I'm just gonna use it for the meantime, just for one of the big threes. And for the next one, I got to bring it over and hook it up somewhere to the motor for a ground. But always clean them off nice and good. Spray some kind of like oxidation, you know, something that's going to stop it from rusting up and shit. And every time I get done doing this and I put it all together and it's done, I will pop a little bit of paint on it so it doesn't rust, or it protects it. So yep, get ready to do that. She's in there bolted nice and tight. I'm going to pop some spray on all that. And for right now, I got it just on here. This is just for the meantime. This is the way I'm going to run them, just on these little guys, until I get my actual part right here where I can connect it all together and just use the lugs itself. I'm still waiting for that to come in, but yep, I'm just going to do this for now so I can still at least start this thing up and drive it. Got it zip tied up, mocked where it's going to be, I suppose, out of the way. I like the way it is. It's out of the way of everything. This is on the fuel line. It's fine. It doesn't get hot or nothing. I sprayed a coat on it so far. It's got to dry. I'm going to put another coat on it after. I still got to run one more ground from here down, bolted to the actual motor itself, because this is bolted to the chassis, which is a unibody. So there's no frame to really put it on. So now the next step is just to get another run of the 0 gauge and figure out where I want to bolt it to the actual motor itself. I'm thinking about bolting it up here somewhere on here, sanding this all down and bolting it to this, because it's a straight shot, and you know, all I got is one more run of that and it's not long. So I decided I'm going to do it right here. This is nice and clean now. This is nice and clean, and it's the actual part of the block, and it's a straight run, short, straight to it, and that's the best way you can do it. This is the way it's going to be for now. It's straight to the block, to the ground, short grounds, to the chassis, to the alternator, big three. It's hard to see it, guys, but I drilled some holes back there in the back in the firewall, and my bit just ain't big enough. It's not as big as 0 gauge, so I'm using I'm cheating and using like a concrete bit. If this doesn't work, I'm gonna have to go get a step bit. Probably go to Harbor Freight or something. But yep, you can see up there where the holes is that I've been working on. So I got those 2 0 gauge hot wires in there. I'm gonna be running down right here. I'm gonna get some PLX8. I need to go back to the store. I ran out of it, and I'm gonna PLX8 it away from the hole that I cut, and right in the middle, and then let it harden, so these will be safe and they'll be airtight again. So, but yeah, I don't know how the carpet's going to be coming out. Everything's coming out, so I can sound dentin everything. So I don't know if I want to do like an exposed wires look going through there and stuff. So I don't know for sure, but that's what I'm doing right now. I got it out right here. I gotta figure out where, you know what I mean. Just gotta figure out how long I need it to put it on the hot over there. But yeah, that's actually pretty cool, only if it was the hot. I mean, you know, the hot's over here, ground's over here, but you know what I mean. This is hot, so I need to put it. So this is the way it's gonna be until I can get my block up front. These two are going back, obviously, to the alternator, the regular stock stuff, and then ground, and then ground to the frame. So there they are. I gotta go get some PLX now. Yay.